P.I. has a shared universe with Hawaii 5-0, Murder, She Wrote, Simon and Simon, and possibly Quantum Leap too. That's awesome.
Number 5. Famous guest stars. Now, Magnum P.I. features a lineup of regular likeable characters, including Larry Manetti as Orville Rick Wright, Roger E. Mosley as Theodore T.C. Calvin, and John Hillerman as Jonathan Higgins, of which in 1987, Hillerman would win an Emmy before his performance as Higgins. In the show's earlier days, the voice of the mysterious but important Robin Masters was provided by none other than Orson Welles, with Magnum P.I. being one of Welles' final performances. Well, even though it was just voice work, but still. Throughout Magnum P.I.'s original broadcast history, the show would see several celebrity guest stars, including, but not limited to, Frank Sinatra, Cesar Romero, Sharon Stone, Ian McShane, Ted Danson, Mako, Patrick McNee, Phil Hartman, Pat Morita, James Doohan, Amy Yazbek, Scatman Crothers, Miguel Ferrer, Annie Potts, Julian Glover, former TV Spider-Man Nicholas Hammond, and the 5th Doctor himself, Peter Davison, and many, many more.
So as you can see, there was a huge and random lineup of guest stars and the kitchen sink.
Number 4. Uplifting Vietnam Vets. Magnum P.I. is famous for many things: its intriguing stories, action, and interesting, likeable characters. However, something else the show has become famous for was its positive representation of Vietnam vets, often being cited as the first piece of entertainment to do so, with Thomas Magnum himself even being a vet. Now, at that time, the Vietnam War was still relatively recent and considered quite a sensitive topic, with Vietnam vets often being depicted in the media as damaged, volatile, and even murderous psychos. And the world of entertainment was no different, what with classic movies like The Deer Hunter and Apocalypse Now, which, although are classics, did succumb to this stereotype. Heck, round about the time Magnum P.I. started, the movie First Blood came out, where Sylvester Stallone plays Vietnam vet Rambo, and pretty much destroys an entire town. But nope, in Magnum P.I. we get Thomas Magnum, who's living his best life and rocking his Hawaiian shirts, and is depicted as a normal, mentally adjusted guy who is both likable and even able to apply some of his Vietnam War skills to his current work. So to a lot of people, it was kind of a relief for Magnum P.I. to show Vietnam vets as normal people able to lead positive lives. And of course, a few years after Magnum P.I. started, this trend would follow in suit with the A-Team, in which the Murdoch character could probably be seen as a mockery or spoof of the damaged and deranged vet stereotype. But okay, we've gotten into another TV show, and I've already made an episode on the A-Team, so you should watch that. Number 3. The show's theme was a massive success. Yep, it's an action-packed TV show from the 80s. That can mean only one thing: it's bound to have a truly awesome theme song, which of course Magnum P.I. did. Now, the show originally had a completely different theme tune, one by composer Ian Fairbairn Smith, who previously won a Grammy for his work on the Barbra Streisand song Evergreen. And his Magnum P.I. theme sounds very 70s-ish, with it sounding more like music that you would hear in The Love Boat. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think it's fine, but it was decided that this theme just wasn't right for the show, and just didn't have the catchy hook that the production were looking for. So legendary TV composer Mike Post was brought in to work his magic and create a new theme for Magnum P.I. Honestly, Post may have had a black belt when it comes to creating TV themes, as he created many memorable, catchy TV tunes, including the theme for the A-Team, The Greatest American Hero, Quantum Leap, Doogie Howser MD, and Law & Order, among many, many others. His Magnum P.I. score does have a disco flair about it, but it's also very energetic and really catchy. And thus, this song became the Magnum P.I. anthem, and everyone loved it and instantly associated the show with this theme. In fact, going back to Screen Rant, the theme was so well loved and embraced by the public, in 1982 it entered number 25 on the Hot 100 Billboard charts. So not only were fans of the show enjoying the luxury of seeing Magnum P.I. on the small screen, but also listening to its catchy, funky theme tune on the radio, proving the huge effect this show had in its time. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a rise in Hawaiian shirts being purchased too. Number 2, cancellation. Magnum P.I. made its small screen debut in December the 11th, 1980, just 3 days after the murder of John Lennon. And it was successful, with its first season bringing in an average of 21 million viewers. However, Magnum P.I. really reached its A-game with its third and fourth seasons in 1982 and 1983, with those seasons having an average of 22.5 million viewers, with the show reaching the number 3 to number 6 slot of most watched program. However, by season 6, there was a massive drop in viewings, with it overall, on average, reaching 14.6 million viewers, with Magnum P.I. now being the 46th most watched show. In order to try and increase views, Tom Selleck was now also the show's producer, and the show was moved from Thursday night to Wednesday, but this apparently made the views even worse, as it just couldn't compete with The Cosby Show, which was being broadcast on NBC. Then finally, Season 8 would be the last season, with the final episode being broadcast on May the 1st, 1988. After all, the views were continuing to plummet, with the viewing averages now being 14.4. And so, just like that, Magnum P.I. had now wrapped up. But I actually see it as a triumph, as the show did last 8 years and 8 seasons, with 162 episodes. So it was a very successful TV show, shown throughout most of the 1980s, which made it an instant staple of that era, and one of the most celebrated and most well-loved TV shows of all time.
So that's it. End of the show, right? Wrong.
Number 1. Failed movie and revived series. Not too long after Magnum P.I.'s initial cancellation, there was already attempts to bring Magnum P.I. back, but in the form of a movie, where in the early 90s, novelist Tom Clancy wrote a script for a Magnum P.I. movie, which was to see Thomas Magnum return to the Navy and go on further adventures. Clancy is probably best known for his literary creation, Jack Ryan, and Tom Selleck was up for returning. However, Universal Pictures just didn't have any faith in the movie, so it didn't get made, and instead Selleck would go on to make Quigley Down Under. However, Magnum P.I. did return in a reboot series in 2018. And oh my god, what rock have I been living under? I have literally never heard of this till now. Like, what's going on? Okay, maybe it only lasted a couple of episodes, and that's why I've never heard of it. Well, no. The Magnum P.I. remake lasted 5 seasons, consisting of 96 episodes. Okay, seriously, what is going on here? Like, what's next? I'm gonna find out there was a modern MacGyver remake too?
Oh, God, oh! I guess I've just crossed dimensions and entered the Magnum P.I. and MacGyver reboot reality. Oh, jeez.
In the remake series, Friday Night Lights actor Jay Hernandez plays Thomas Magnum. Now, I can't say if he's any good or not, as I've never seen it. And this new series did what the older series wanted to do, have a Hawaii Five-0 crossover with the Hawaii Five-0 remake. Was it any good? I don't know, as I've never seen it. The show got mixed reviews, and it was felt that it couldn't compare to its iconic original, but its flashy action was praised. So, was the action any good? Once again, I don't know, I've never seen it. The show was cancelled recently because of a licensing disagreement between CBS and Universal Television. But all that aside, we'll always have the original brilliant show, and it's perfect the way that it is. It's fun, exciting, and full of heart and spirit, in a more upbeat, optimistic time. They can make as many remakes and reboots as they like, and some of them may even be good. But sometimes all you need is Tom Selleck with his mantash and Hawaiian shirt driving around in his red Ferrari. Perfect.
So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed it.
Yep, Selleck was basically told that he was not to play Indiana Jones due to filming commitments, of which he was already scheduled for to play Magnum P.I. so Selleck had to drop out of the Indiana Jones role, which then went to Harrison Ford. However, as it happens, at the time when filming for Magnum P.I. was to start, there was actually an Actors Guild strike taking place, which temporarily put a stop to the production of Magnum P.I., which meant that Selleck could have starred as Indiana Jones in Raiders of the Lost Ark after all. Damn, that's gotta suck. Oh well, he would still go on to have a massive success with Magnum P.I., and in 1985 would win a Golden Globe for his performance as Thomas Magnum. So that ain't bad, that's pretty darn good. Number 7. Magnum P.I. recycles sets from Hawaii 5-0. Most of Magnum P.I. was shot on location in Oahu, Hawaii, which is an island known for its luscious tropical rainforests and amazing white sandy beaches. Wait, did I just quote the guy from Jaws? With its scenery making the place look nothing short of a tropical paradise. Additional filming was done at Honolulu, Hawaii, and Waimanalo Beach, also in Hawaii, and even sound stages at studios in California were also used. Now, the very year that Magnum P.I. made its debut, another very successful show had just finished. That, of course, being the Hawaiian-based police drama, Hawaii 5-0. Now, the network didn't want the Hawaii 5-0 sound stages and set pieces to go to waste, so they would indeed be recycled for Magnum P.I. In fact, there are some claims that Magnum P.I. got its tropical Hawaiian setting in order to use the Hawaii 5-0 sets. And there are even several times throughout the Magnum P.I. series that the 5-0 would be mentioned, suggesting a shared universe. There apparently were even attempts to get Jack Lord, who starred in Hawaii 5-0, to guest star in Magnum P.I. as his iconic Steve Garrett character, but he turned it down. Number 6. Shared universes. Although it's really common for franchises to have shared universes these days, Magnum P.I. was really ahead of its time and was already exploring shared universes all the way back in the early 80s. Not only does Magnum P.I. have a shared universe with Hawaii 5-0 as mentioned, but also Murder, She Wrote, as Magnum would team up with Angela Lansbury's Jessica Fletcher character in the 1986 Magnum P.I. episode Novel Connection, and in turn Thomas Magnum would appear in the Murder, She Wrote episode Magnum on Ice. I just find Magnum P.I. to be crossing over with Murder, She Wrote to just be so delightfully random. In 1982, AJ and Rick Simon from Simon & Simon would appear in the Magnum P.I. episode Keys Don't Lie, and likewise in return Magnum would appear in the Simon & Simon episode Emeralds Are Not a Girl's Best Friend. But what I find to be the most fascinating crossover sadly never happened, but by gosh, I really wish that it did, as that would have been a crossover with the science fiction TV series Quantum Leap, which would have seen Sam Beckett take on the form of Thomas Magnum at his location in Hawaii, which would have been phenomenal. This would have led to a follow-up episode featuring both Magnum and Beckett, but I guess things got a little caca, and the idea didn't end up going forward.
But just think about that for a moment. Magnum P.I. has a shared universe with Hawaii 5-0, Murder, She Wrote, Simon & Simon, and possibly Quantum Leap too. That's awesome.
2. Cancellation. Magnum P.I. made its small screen debut in December the 11th, 1980, just 3 days after the murder of John Lennon. And it was successful, with its first season bringing in an average of 21 million viewers. However, Magnum P.I. really reached its A-game with its third and fourth seasons in 1982 and 1983, with those seasons having an average of 22.5 million viewers, with the show reaching the number 3 to number 6 slot of most watched program. However, by season 6, there was a massive drop in viewings, with it overall, on average, reaching 14.6 million viewers. Cancellation. There was already attempts to bring Magnum P.I. back, but in the form of a movie, where in the early 90s, novelist Tom Clancy wrote a script for a Magnum P.I. movie, which was to see Thomas Magnum return to the Navy and go on further adventures. Clancy is probably best known for his literary creation, Jack Ryan, and Tom Selleck was up for returning. However, Universal Pictures just didn't have any faith in the movie, so it didn't get made, and instead Selleck would go on to make Quigley Down Under. However, Magnum PI did return in a reboot series in 2018. And oh my god, what rock have I been living under? I have literally never heard of this till now. Like, what's going on? Okay.